Pardon me, sorry. All right. Almost there. Almost there.
What are you doing? He was a teacher. Yeah, the Korea.
My father taught in Berea. My father taught in Berea. Did you teach in Berea?
My brother-in-law was just lifted.
My father was there for many years.
Really?
He was the assistant principal of the place.
I knew him well. My brother-in-law taught there 40 years or so.
Oh, wow. Yes, my father-in-law also, when he retired from public school. He taught Rabbi Weinberger Yeshiva for many years before that. But, yeah, he was there. Yes, it was. He enjoyed that. It was a great. It's a great retirement for him. You know?
Yes.
This is the real deal right here. So you know Jay Gelman. That's the real deal.
Jay Gelman told me this is
No smoking and shit. Cigarettes.
What?
No. I'm trying to press. You're fine.
More than our one bar.
It's cheaper to buy the milk than get the whole cow. Exactly.
This is what my mother told me.
It's not for now. It's for later.
Oh, I realized my own thing.
What are you saying?
The hair is also. You didn't mean it. Jay Gelman.
The last time I
I didn't mean it. There's two people on.
Yeah.
In the same shoes, the same both.
I'm going to call him something right now.
What are you doing this for?
Which book are we using?
Ayekah.
I think we're in Kaf Sama. I think we're in
Last one to come down.
No.
Married at 43. The oldest daughter. She had a child at 50 and another child at 50.
Yes. That's exactly where we are.
Bert was the first man. Really nice guy. Yeah, speaks English.
In Ayekah, page Kuf Samach Beis. We're learning about Tohu and Tikkun. The Tachlis is to be able to live a life filled with the iris of Tohu, with powerful iris, powerful light, but be careful to make sure that these iris are contained within the healthy gulim of the kalim of Tikkun. That's what we're talking about. And of course, this Tikkun is the Tikkun of Yesod, which is really what the next part of the Sefer is about, Kedushas HaBris, part of which we learned a little bit in the Yosef Tzaddik Chabur last year. Earlier this year. So on page Kuf Samach Beis, Yosef Tzaddik. Of course, Yosef Tzaddik is the Midah of Yesod. Tzaddik Yesod Olam. So Gam Yosef Tzaddik, page Kuf Samach Beis. Gam Yosef Tzaddik. Shemidoso hi midas hayesod. Kol shema'od lebchina hazu shel hagvulos on the sinas hamakom hamaduik l'chol koach. So we're learning how Kodesh Baruch Hu does not want us to ignore our koiches and our kishvayos. Adarabah, Hashem wants us to identify who we are with our deepest koiches and our deepest kishvayos. But in order for us to have the chofesh, the freedom of living in accordance to that deeper will of who we are, that rotzen hapnimi of the neshama, we have to have gvulos and nesinas hamakom hamaduik l'chol koach, which is that every single koach that we have has to be in its place and it's right to be used in its right way, with the proper gvulim and so on. Ba'aschola, we see by Yosef Tzaddik, Ba'odonar, while he was still a young person, a child, and growing up, he told the dreams to his brothers, even though it was quite obvious that they were not going to appreciate these dreams. They were going to be very upset about them. And Yaakov gave him Moshe. Yaakov was upset with him. In other words, Yaakov was telling Yosef, not every dream that you have to share with your brothers. Not everything that you feel, not everything that you know, not everything that's revealed to you has to be made known to others. There needs to be a gvul. And lesapik means to hold back, to keep something to yourself. So he took this very seriously. Now obviously it was going to Shemaim, the whole shtalshlus of the Shvatim and Mitzrayim and Yetzias Mitzrayim is something that Hashem wanted. So it had to come out from Yosef Tzaddik, such a thing, to share the dream that he had with his brothers. But Afal Pichein, Yosef Tzaddik absorbed in the deepest way what his father told him. The whole inyan of Yosef Tzaddik is Shmiras Habris, Shmiras Ha'inayim, Shmiras Hasod, to be able to keep a secret, to be able to be a person that knows when is the right time to say something, and when is it time to be silent, when is it time for there to be a connection, and when is it time to stay away. That's the whole inyan of Yesod. And therefore, and we see afterwards the whole inyan of Yosef being in that way of tikkun. That he conducts himself, his whole mitzias is b'tzur mesuderes. It's only regarding Yosef Tzaddik the Torah uses such a lashon of misapek. Misapek and he didn't reveal who he was to his brothers. The same one who, when he was a young man, felt compelled to share the dream that Yaakov said he shouldn't have, and he, on his madrega, spilled the beans, couldn't hold back, said what he shouldn't have said. He's the same person now of Yisapik. If he has so much to say, and he doesn't say it. He has the biggest secret in the world, and he keeps it a secret until the right moment, where it says L'yochel Yosef L'sapik Oy. Mr. Chassidim say, the Tzaddikim say that, which I once learned together, they say the pasuk like this: L'yochel, if you feel that you can't, L'sapik Oy, hold back more. It's not a literal reading of the pasuk, obviously. But sometimes a person feels v'lo yachol. I can't control this. I can't hold this. V'lo yachol, this apik oy. Hold back more. This apik oy. But of course, Yosef Tzaddik was exploding with this. The whole avoda was the whole tikkun of Yosef Tzaddik is shmiras hasod and shmiras habris. L'sapik, to withhold, to hold back, to be contained. Master Ezehuso, and he conceals his identity, ad l'zman ha'meduyak, until the last second. Until the last second. The iris of Yosef are unbelievable. The light of Yosef, the koch of Yosef. But in the right way. In kelim of tikkun. Zoha tikkun. Das lifol b'tzura mu'ureges meduyekes. To be able to conduct oneself in a way that is organized, that's meduyekes, that's precise, and it's in the proper boundaries. If he has zman v'hamakom, according to the zman, the time, and the makom, and the place. Zui midas hayesod. This is the midah of Yesod. Midaso zu shel Yosef. The midah of Yosef HaTzadik. Hizu ha'ma'avsheres lo gam lios ha'mashbi l'chol am ha'aretz. As we were learning in the past few weeks, that the natural instinct, especially of a child, is that whatever I want, that's what I should have, and that's who I am, and I should just act upon my instincts and so on, and in that way, I will be happy, I will be free. But what we're learning throughout the Maimer is that no, freedom comes from being able to sort out what your true ratzon is, what you really, really want, and being careful of all the noise of the external ritzinus, which, if you indulge in, will only take you further and further away from your true ratzon. And that does not mean that Kodesh Baruch Hu is keeping you away from simcha, keeping you away from chayfish, from chayrus. There is no yontiv where a Jew has to be as careful as the yontiv of Pesach, right? Where by the time it gets to Pesach, afilu marshu of chametz, we don't have anything like that. Generally, there are halachas of bittul. You could move around a little bit. Something could come, bottle, a drop of milk in a pot of soup. There are ways to deal with this that we have in halacha. And all of the zehiras, all of the unbelievable care that comes with the Yontiv of Pesach, and all of the preparation of chanas that are so much connected the teva of what a person feels is connected my teva, that I have to do all of these things and to be so unbelievably careful. In other words, there's no other Yontiv where the borders are as clear as Pesach. Of course, Shabbos is Shabbos. I'm saying, but there are no other Yom Tovim. And even when it comes to eating. So a person says, why, this is kosher. Why can't I eat this? It's 100% kosher. The Hashem Yisrael made such a thing, and all of everything in the house, how it has to be, and where it has to be. And all of this is to prepare for which Yom Tov? Zman? Cherusein. If you would ask somebody that's not Jewish, and say, how would you like to prepare for the day of independence? We can see what they do, July 4th. Or how would you, what's the avodah of freedom, of independence? The last thing he would come up with is something like Pesach.
Hot dog eating.
Huh?
They have a hot dog eating contest.
Right, hot dog eating contest. Coney Island. Right. That's Cheres. Cheres is eating as much as I want, however I want, wherever I want, and whenever I want. And everything about Pesach is watch what you're doing, be careful, look at the ingredients, check the hashgacha, make sure the bittul chametz, shreifes chametz. The whole avodah of zman cheruseinu is an avodah of gvulim, of feeling like I can't. That's why there's resistance. That's why there's rebellion in the hotels, all of that. Everybody ready? If you're in, you're already in, so I know it's not nice. I scream about it months before. I'm hoping to prevent some people from that mistake. But already now it's fafal. So, but that's why people are so resistant to Pesach. Because Zolomash ani yotzeh. Ani yotzeh liot chafshi. I want like to have the picture in the magazine. I want to be able to sit by the pool. All the shlubs are running around cleaning, and I'm already. I don't have to worry about this. I'm just going to pack my suitcase and I'm free. And the whole inyan of Pesach is tikkun. Tikkun. So when you read these things in the Sefer, how when a person is cleaning for Pesach and he's schwitzing, or the schwitzing of baking the matzahs, and we see in the Kisvei that all of this is a tikkun for Pagam HaBris. It's a tikkun of Yosef Atzad. What is schwitzing, what is perspiring over cleaning have to do with tikkun habris Yosef Atzad? Because otherwise you're not free. You're just in a hot dog eating contest. Yeah? So how could such a thing have happened that Pesach itself became this distortion of Pesach? It's Zeil Umazeh. The Cheres of Pesach requires davke kelim of tikkun, Yosef Atzadik, and schwitzing, and working hard, and kashering, and perspiring. You say the same thing. You see by the Arizal, all the tikkunim by Habelas kelim, when you're kashering the kelim, also the perspiration. Tikkun habris, everything's tikkun habris. What does that have to do with bris? What does this have to do with these inyanim of kedusha? Because all of Kedusha is Yosef Atzadik. And Kedusha means being careful. Being careful. Cherus means being free. This is exactly what we're learning. Means being able to quiet down all of that noise of the external ritziness. And what has happened is that this distortion of what Pesach is that cleaning for Pesach and preparing for Pesach, that is seen as some sort of noise that's keeping me from my true chayrus, which is what? Relaxing. Just relaxing, having a good. Eating as much as I want, without having to make all the tikkunim that our Nashim Tzadkanias have been making for thousands of years, with all the preparations and all the work in the kitchen, all the cooking and cleaning that goes in for the men and for the women when it comes to Pesach, that even a child understood that there's Pesach and the sittering of Pesach, and all of that is to be misakin the tikkun of Yosef Atzad, which is what? This apek. And all that the modern distortion of Pesach is telling you is lo lit apek. Don't hold anything back from yourself. Indulge. Just give in. Get whatever you want. And the last thing that you want is having to be somehow crashing and climbing behind someplace with a schmat and a bottle of Windex. That's the last thing that you want.
With ammonia.
I thought it comes with ammonia, no? So that's the last thing that you want. That's freedom? Zmanche was saying, Sukkahs a person can be masik. Yeah, and you have you have these guys that the whole year you never see them in the best measures that come sukkahs, they're jumping and going around. They get because the lights of the iris of Tohu are running wild on sukkahs. And you have, especially when it comes to Sheminah Tzeres and Pastor, it's iris. But when it comes to Pesach, it's very quiet. Interesting how things quiet down. Pesach. That's what Manche was saying. Chayus means liot chavshi, bemet liot chavshi. And to be chavshi, to be free, means to come back to your own koiches. And to come back to your own koiches requires setting boundaries to the external noise, which is the opposite of the society that we're living in. Which everything is about the app and getting this and having that and everything. The bilbul. So it's interesting, he's saying, the meaning of Yosef at Tzaddik. So Yosef, you're saying, is holding back. The whole thing of Yosef is holding back. But look at Hamash Bilachol Amars. But who's the one that feeds the whole world? Who's the one that has what to give? Yosef at Tzaddik. He's called the Mashbir. Mashbir, he's the one that's feeding everybody. He's the Balapas. He's the one that knows how to keep all the stuff in storage. Lock and key. He knows how to keep things in storage. He knows the one who couldn't hold his dreams back, now the rest of his life has everything in storage, locked, the right way. But he has a warehouse of stuff, but it's locked. And he knows how to give it out. Same thing when it comes to talking. Same thing when it comes to your phone. To know how to keep it locked. And what to give out. That's the meaning of Kodesh. All of the preparations for Pesach, this is this avodah. All the hachanas, all the koiches. So Yosef Tzaddik is davka hamash b'lechol am haaretz. He's the one that's feeding everybody. What happened to the rest of the world? They used everything up because they don't know how to store stuff. They don't know how to store it. They used everything up. Pagam habris. Pagam habris means that you waste your life with using your koiches in the wrong way. That's called pagam habris. Using your koiches in the wrong way. Shmir habris means containment of the external, so that you're able to spend your life in a place of dvekas with the internal. And when you do that, then you experience chofesh. You experience freedom. You experience freedom. He knows how to give out the resources. That's what it means. A person of Kedusha knows how to give out words, and his koiches along with his body, his words, and all in Yonam, he knows how to give them out in the right way at the right time. He doesn't misuse. To be everything with Lashon and Kiyah. Obviously, I can't. It's a mixed audience. In the right way, in the right time. All the resources that the person has, in the right way, in the right time. All of the koiches. Kach mavur b'sfar. Shezui midas tzadikim. This is the midah of tzadikim. So you might think that Yosef Tzaddik, who has such this inyan of locking and closing and holding, you would think that he was like that such a person would have would have no chiyus. He's not alive. But who else does it say? Od Yosef b'ni Chai. Od Yosef Chai. The whole midah of Yosef Tzaddik is to be alive. So it seems to be such a strange thing. Yosef, Od Yosef b'ni Chai. Yosef is the one that's called Chai. It's called alive. And the tikkun of David HaMelech is also David HaMelech Chai v'Kai, which is Yesod HaMalchus. But Yosef is called Chai. A person would naturally think that somebody who's holding back, he's not alive. He's not. The people who are alive, the Lebedik ones, are the ones that they say whatever they want to say and they do whatever they want to do. Those are Lebedik people. The guys in Coney Island. Those are Lebedik people. They're fest, tanz, everything, whatever you want. That's called Lebedik. And you would say that Yosef must be like a very boring person, Yosef. His name means Tosefes, means constantly adding. And regarding him, it says, Od Yosef b'ni Chai. Chai. He's alive. Because life means who you are, not something else. And therefore, there was no person who was as free as Yosef Tzaddik. Dafka, the one who was in jail. The one who sat in jail was the biggest Ben Chayrin. Was Pesach. It's an amazing thing. The one who sat in jail. Because the whole tikkun of Yosef Tzaddik is self-containment. It comes to self-containment. Through tzimtzum. With the iris of, and Davka, the iris can be experienced Davka through the ability of lis apek, of tzimtzum. That's how you experience the iris. So the people who enjoy life more than anyone, those people who enjoy life more than anybody are the ones who know the secret of Yesod. Those are the people who enjoy life more than anyone. Not the ones who are where there are no borders. There are no borders. And this is obviously connected to the whole sugya I'm going to now, but the sugya of Yisurim, of challenges and difficulties and suffering in life. Every single challenge that a person has, by definition, is forcing the person to be mechazik himself, to strengthen his borders. That's what Yisurim do. That's what challenges in life do. You're not a kid anymore. You can't just do whatever you want. There are things in life that are going to hold you back. And you learn to accept those as part of the tikkun of your life. Not as something that's destroying your life, but part of the tikkun of your life. The Davka, these are the people who are alive most. Yosef Tzaddik, Mashke l'chol amar. L'chol amar. Yosef Tzaddik is the one who's giving to the whole world. V'yadei l'chalik es ha-meshavim b'oifen nochen ben kol ha-koiches ha-shaynim. Kach mavur b'sfarim shazui midas ha-tzadikim she'adam l'kavein es kol ha-koiches, the midah of the tzaddik, that's the nina of the tzaddik. He knows how to direct all of his koiches l'fi ha-matara ha-amiti shalahem, according to the true purpose, the true objective of why he has those koiches. Why were those koiches given to him? He uses them for the true purpose for why they were given to him. That's called Yesod. That's called Tzaddik. That's called Yosef. That's the midah of Yesod. Therefore, that's not only for men, that's for women as well. That's the midah of Yesod. Chazal have taught us, and we didn't need Chazal to tell us this, we understand, that the Ayekah nisayon of men in Yesod is Shemir Sabris, of the Shmila. And the Ayekah nisayon when it comes to women with Shemir Sabris is Bris HaLashon, it's speech. It's the Ayekah nisayon Women is the Bechin of Malchus. Also, Malchus is Torah Shabbat Peh, is Baal Peh. And the Indian of women, the Ikka Tikkun of women is controlling their words. Not with the men. With the men, it's more the taivas. That other taiva. With the women, it's the need to say, to speak, to text, to app, whatever, all that stuff. That Indian. Men are messed up with that too. But with the woman, that is the Indian of the biggest nisayna with the woman is when it comes to words. When it comes to words. How many, to whom, when, words. With the guys, it's the other Indian. It's the Iker. But it's the same avodah. The avodah is shmir, vulim, lisapik od. You feel like saying this? Not everything you feel like saying, you should say. You feel like texting this? Not everything. At least with a text or something, you have the choice to think about it if you want and to delete it before you send it. When it comes to saying something, maybe they'll come up with some kind of app like that. I don't know. You say the words, and then there's some kind of thing that you could take back the words. But so far, they haven't invented anything where you could take words back. And every one of us has had an experience or two where you said, oh, "I wish I didn't say that." Right? I wish I hadn't said that. There's nothing to do. How do you take the words back? But why would you say such a thing? Why don't you just say it? I said it. There are people that say, I said it, and that's it. Deal with it. I wish I hadn't said that. Means there's an I inside of me that now had the time to stop and think that that's not what I wanted. I did not want to do that. I did not want to hurt your feelings because I love you. I wish I didn't say that. So the kalim of tikkun, of kedusha, of shmir sabris means to be able to come to that place of I before you say the words that you shouldn't have said. And to hold on to that place that's called I. And not to let go of that place that's called I. And not to spend your whole life saying, well, that wasn't me. You know the person who said that horrible thing to you? That wasn't really me. So the person said, why'd you say it? That wasn't me who said it. So who was it? Looked like you, sounded like you. I don't know. I was having a bad day. So you got me upset. It's all, I didn't control myself, but the I would not have said that. So then try to be more in control of the I. So you still spend the rest of your whole life telling somebody, I shouldn't have said that, I wish I hadn't said that, I never meant to say that. Just be I. But that requires kedusha, shmir, siyasa vatzadik. From that time, that's what he's saying, that from that time that his father told him off about the dreams, and Yosef went to bed that night saying, okay, this next dream, I'm not going to, I'm done sharing. Like now we're living such a time where you could sit with a person, the person goes on for an hour telling you stuff that he or she should not have said, and you're supposed to say afterwards, this nusach. Thank you for sharing that. You know that nusach? Thank you so much for sharing that. And then you've been beat and you don't know how you're going to make it through the rest of the day after being subjected to that torture. But you're supposed to say, thank you so much for sharing that. So beautiful that you were able to share that. No, you should have kept it to yourself. What are you talking about? Thank you for sharing that. I hate that nusach. Thank you for sharing. And I've even had to use it sometimes because I if you're talking to a snowflake, you have to say something that won't melt it. You understand? So thank you. If you ever hear me saying that to you, you should be accepted. Thank you so much for sharing that. No, sometimes it's important that they should. That's not always the case. That's when a person's avoid is to say something and to be honest and we're having a real conversation, then you can say, that's so chashuv and thank you for sharing that. And if a person cares for you very deeply and says, I care for you, I love you, then thank you for sharing that. But if a person's just dibur, havolim ba'alma, and things that should not have been said, then I wish you would not have shared that with me. It would be more appropriate. But you can't say that because that's not nice. But to know when to say it, when not to say.
Can we say that now with this? We just saw that when Yosef saw the vision of Yaakov in the window, was a reminder to him that this is a
Sure.
topic.
And that's what held him.
He needed that reminder.
Very good, right? Seeing Yaakov when he was in that matzav, seeing Yaakov was that Yaakov saying, "Not everything that you feel like doing, Yasala." Remember, just because you had a dream doesn't mean that you have to say it, and just because you have an urge doesn't mean you have to act upon it. Be careful, right? The word Ayekah means to hold something back. It means to hold something back. That's what it means. But this didn't make Yosef into a person that wasn't giving and so on. And as I mentioned a few weeks ago, the Chavetz Chaim, I was able to learn by people who learned by the Chavetz Chaim. And I heard myself from them that they said the Chavetz Chaim was an unbelievably friendly person. He was a very, very warm and friendly and talkative person. So one might think that, like as a kid, they tell you, you learn a little bit of Chavetz Chaim, Shmir Shalosh, and you would think that the Chavetz Chaim never spoke. It's not true. It's not just reading in Sefer. I heard from people who spoke to the Chavetz Chaim, and they said the Chavetz Chaim was a talkative person. And I remember there was a yid that was telling a couple of the Chavri together. He was saying the Chavetz Chaim would schmooze with the boys and said, "How are you doing? What's going on in the cheder?" And he would even talk to them about the weather and about how you're feeling. He was very talkative. The Chavetz Chaim didn't talk. The Chavetz Chaim knew how to give out words like Yosef Tzaddik gave out food. Then your words count. He gave out words, but the words were words, madness, real words. You give out real words. No, not the text. Love you, have a great day. Ding. Be Zoin. Yeah. I thought it stands for laugh out loud. Is that what it means?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. That's what it means, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got scared. Sometimes I get that. I wasn't sure, but I thought that. Right. So instead of laughing, that's. But I'm glad you brought that up, Moshe. All these Rosh tables that you have by the like people instead of writing thanks, they write TX. You ever get that? Why can't you just do thanks on my phone? Because I wrote thanks many times, it just automatically when I do TH it says thanks. So why write THX? There's no word THX. So. So interesting. The whole thing is so fascinating if you study it, if you think about it. Like you're so careful with your words. You can't say thanks already, finish the word already. No, THX or something. And people are writing Rosh Tevis Kilu, like it's in the old days when they had to use Rosh Tevis because they couldn't pay, because they had to pay for the words. And they had to pay for the letters. What do you mean? You send 1 million text messages a day. Why are you so stingy on letters? Why can't you write THANK, like the whole word? THX. Shatavis. LOL. Laugh out loud. Okay. And we already became used to it. But you think about it, the whole thing is an insanity. So to start talking, people are going to start talking like that to other people. They're going to just say THX. They won't say thanks because it's too hard to say thank you. So they, a lot of Rosh Tavis I get from people. But the whole thing, to say words, but the words are coming from that place of what I mean to say. Not that you don't talk, but this is what I meant to say, and this is what I'm saying. I meant to say, and this is what I mean to say. This is by my father's was a very, very strong idiom. My father with his words, it was very, very strong. My father and my uncle and his brother, I was the home they were raised in. But the Diburim were very, carefully chosen. Very carefully chosen. And how many times, just the way my father would want us, I mentioned this in the past, to try to give a simon to us that there's already too much that's being said. And it was just, but that was a very big Indian with the words, what to say, and when to say, and not to say, and so on. This is the midah of tzaddik. Lachen davke hem mashpiyim. Therefore, Yosef Tzaddik is the biggest mashpiyah. Yosef Tzaddik is mashpiyah. V'noistem toivo brach l'olam. All the tovos and brachas come to the world through the tzaddik who gives himself in a way of tikkun with kalim, because he's giving his kaiches to the world. He's being mashpiyah his kaiches to the world. Not narishkeit. He's being mashpiyah his kaiches to the world. The kaiches that Hashem gave him, he's using to help others. That's tzaddik. He's using his kaiches to help others. If Hashem gave you music, you're one of those Jews that you have such a kaich of music, of negina, of music. So how to use that? It's a gewaldige, music is a gewaldige kaich. The kedusha of a niggin is unbelievable what a niggin can do. It's learned many times over the years talking about it, but a niggin. Baruch Hashem, we have a chiddush from here, from Abbas and Medrash, that Rabbi has been working on this sugya of the niggin chabur. It's gewaldige avodah, gewaldige inyan. Some of the chaverim, to be able to, some of the guys, and now they're working on a girls division too. I was just talking to Rabbi yesterday, but the guys that they have a koch of negina, but they grow up with this koch, with a talent. They have this talent to have their musically. I'm not talking about the people who think that they're talented, not talented. But the ones who be'emes are talented. But that talent is being used in different ways, and to draw it into kedusha, to be mashpiyah to other Jews in a way of kedusha, not chalila in other ways. The music could be a terrible tongue, but to use the music as hashpah, to draw the music into Torah, like David HaMelech's music, it's a huge thing. It's a big part of Chassidus, of the Baal Shem Kodesh, was this union of music and how it's used properly in nigunim and shiurs and smears. To use a person who has this talent of music, a person who is artistic, and how to use that art and music, and to use it in such a way. So there were others that their mahalach was music is treif, art is treif, right? Shut down the kid, shut down the person. But the avodah of the tzaddik is not to shut down the person, but to draw out the real person. Who is this artist? Who is this musician? And it's the same in every classroom and in every home. Not to shut down, to draw out. To draw out. But the only way that can be drawn out is when there are kalim, discipline, tikkun, and the gvulim. The biggest toiva and bracha come to the world through the ones who are the shoymim, the ones who are guarding. And therefore, I've spoken about this so many times over the years that you have chaver who go through different time in their lives where they were addicted to something. It's a terrible, terrible pain of our generation, all kinds of addictions. And those tzaddikim who worked on the addiction and made, even though they had crazy taiva to give into this, whatever this addiction was, and they were able to create kelim of tikkun. These are people who have tremendous koach of hashpah. And I always tell them that there's a reason why you're going through this, and it's to help other people not go through it. Because I don't know what it means to enjoy a glass of alcohol, because I never liked it. I don't So it's not taiva for me. So I don't know what that is. But if you have a person who's meshiga with, God forbid, with alcohol, with drinking, and it was destroying his life, and then he said, Ad kan, vayis apek. Yosef Atzadik came into his life. Yosef Atzadik, vayis apek. And he goes to meetings, and he's going to therapy, and he's going to rehab. And avoida, gvulim, Yosef Atzadik, vayis apek. Now for the first time in his life, you know what he becomes? A mashpia. To give life to his children, to give life to other people. Life that he never even knew that he had. He never knew that he had that. So when you see in yourself that you have a taiva for certain things and you indulge in that taiva, Hashem is not saying to you, shut down. Hashem is not saying to you, not to live. Hashem is saying to you, I want you to have, not only that you should live, but I want you to give life to others. But the only way that you're going to give life to others is by controlling your own life. And when you control your own life, you're going to give life to others. And if you lose control of your life, you're going to destroy others. Your family's going to destroy life. I was talking recently to a woman whose husband is a gambler. I said, I'm not like that gambling. Destroyed his family. He's not allowed in the house anymore. Everything they had, he did with his family and his money. And he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. So his inyu is with Taivas Mammon, with money. Taivas Mammon is a very big Taiva. The Svarah Kodesh was a lot. The inyu of Taivas Mammon is a deep sugya of Taivas Mammon, money. Very deep sugya. This person, I hope she'll let him back. In the meantime, he's out. But he has to make the right tikkun. And with the tikkun, and with the kelim of Yosef Atzadik, vayis apek. So, Davka in this Indian, he's going to be able to be a mashpia to others in different ways, in a healthy way. And that's the Indian of Tzadik, Chonein, V'nosein. The Tzadik is not a person who has nothing to do with other people. The Tzadik is Chonein, V'nosein. The Tzadik is a giver. But he has what to give. He knows what to give, and how to give, and to whom to give. The Tzadik is Chaynen v'noisei. Kach melamed Rabbi Yudai Levi. In Kuzri, Shemish Yadeh Limshal B'Kerchais V'Apnimiyim Hu Zaroi Lios Moshel Al Medina. So Rabbi Yudai Levi in Kuzri, of course, that's the conversation that he made up between the Chacham and the king of the Kuzarim, right? And in the Kuzri, so the king was asking him about the qualifications of being a king. Like, what are the qualities that are needed in order to be a king? What are the qualifications to being a king? So there, Rabbi Yudai Levi, in the voice of the Chacham, answers. He says, "Shemisha de limshal b'kerchais v'apnimim hu zeh haroi lios Moshe al Medina." Only a person who's in control of himself can be in control of other people. That's what Yudai Levi explains. If you're a king over yourself, Tikkun, then you're able to be a Moshe al Medina. Then you're able to rule over a people, a nation, in a just and beautiful way, to give them what they need, and to help them, and so on, to take care of a Medina. It's the same thing with the family. If you're not in control, then you're not. If you're not in control of yourself, then you don't have control of your family. Period. So, not that it's always that issue, because there are, of course, there are other issues involved with kids and so on, what they're going through, and we're not raising them. They're being raised in schools and institutions. We only have them a couple of hours here and there, so they're at the mercy of all kinds of other people. We hope it'll work out, but it's scary. It's scary. Because we don't know who they're meeting on the bus, and we don't know who they're meeting in the building, and it's scary. And you and I know that it's bad enough that they're meeting up with us, and we're trying to be good people. But at least I do my best, and I love them. And I don't know what's going to be with them outside of my house. It's scary. How do you control? So he says, Omar Chaver. So Rabbi Yudai Levi, of course, is the Chaver, who's having this conversation with the king, who was explaining Yiddishkeit to the king. Chassid hu Aish amefaked al midinasa. The chassid. That's interesting. He says that the qualification for a ruler is to be a chassid, a righteous person. A chassid hu Aish amefaked al midinasa. And those na kol yashveh es lechem chukam. He's the one who knows how to distribute, to take care of his kingdom, that they should have jobs and food and whatever. Musapatam kol tzaracham b'midah nechona, to give to his people what they need. The laws and everything, the taxes, whatever is needed. And the king treats everybody in his kingdom b'tzedek, in a way that's righteous. Lo yashak ish mehem, he doesn't steal from them, like the kings that were taking care of this. I was just reading that the Ayatollah for the week, the new one. I mean, I think it's already been a week. It shouldn't be much more longer, right? But the Ayatollah for the week, which is the last Russia's son, right? I don't know how to say his name, whatever his name is. But this Russia, so turns out that this guy, the supreme, what do they call him, the supreme leader, right? This guy's got big bank accounts in Europe and all other places. The guy's loaded. The supreme leader, the head imam, the Gadol Hador, the next one to get a bullet in his head, or a bomb in his basement, right? So he's going to be the Moshel, he's going to be the Melech. That's Malchus. And you see with all of these Malachim, with all of them, and the head of the Palestinians, he's not rich. What's his name? Abbas. All of them. They're all the kings. They're all abusive. Ganovim, abusive Ganovim. And unfortunately, we had even some in our own history. The true king knows how to give each one what they need. And therefore, all those, when he needs them to serve him in his army and in other ways, they respond to him. He's a king of righteousness and tzedek, what they need, how and when, and therefore they respond to him, the kriyaso, when he needs them. Yes, how did Lubavitcher Rabbi Schuster have control of such an army all over the world? What do you think the Lubavitcher Rabbi's bank account was? Nothing of his own. And how he lived, and all the tzaddikim, how they lived. But people listened to them. And he didn't have to put anybody in jail or to force anybody. All he had to do was to say, I'd like to talk to you. And then 100,000 people jumped me. How do you do that? Because when you're not because of fear, out of love. Because he was completely in control of himself. Completely in control of himself. I mean, something that's we can't even be masik when you read the stories about it. I'm just giving you as an example. The others I think also, but in particular, that person can't be masik, the self-control. So you'd say he didn't talk. He gave his fabrangas. He was talking for 3-4 hours. He didn't give. He was worried about a rice kebab and Jew someplace in Cambodia that didn't have matzahs. It was all kind of nice. And himself? And then anything that anybody he asked, I need you to do this. Shluchim, I'm yours. Rabbi, whatever you need, I'm yours. And he doesn't have to throw people in jail. You see all the Rishonim there's a rebellion, and they kill people, lock people up, what goes on. Nobody has to go to jail. He tells them, don't do it, they don't do it. Don't do it, that's all. It's not for you, okay? Thank you. I didn't realize that, I'll be more careful. So, like when Yaakov told Yosef, I got it. But the Rishonim, the kings, their jails are so busy. And the only way that they clean up some of the jails is by executing the people that are in jail. That way they make some more room in jail. That's all. The jails are full. Because no one's listening. Why should I listen to you? You're a Baldover. You're not in control of anything. The king, the presidents themselves are the biggest Bali Taivan. So I should listen to you. Why should I listen to you? You don't listen to yourself. Why should I listen to you? You don't listen to yourself. Why should I listen to you? The awe and the respect that you feel for a tzaddik is because you're in the presence of somebody who listens to himself. So after Clinton, when he was caught with all of his aveiros, so then how's he supposed to talk to the country about family values? It was a problem, yeah. So they stopped talking about it. You can't. Ayekah. I mean, they're all hypocrites and liars, these politicians. But Ayekah. Only a Jew could do such a thing. Clinton knew that he can't talk about that. But Schumer could write a book about anti-Semitism. You know that he wrote a book about anti-Semitism. Chutzpah. That's the definition of chutzpah. How dare you talk about something that you yourself are so far from? I'm not saying that he's an anti-Semite, but he's friends with all anti-Semites. He gives them all the covet that they want, and he's empowering all the anti-Semites. I'm not saying he's an anti-Semite, but a king. A real king doesn't have to write books and throw people in jail. He's in control of himself. And when you see someone that's in control of himself, then when you're in the presence of that person, you want to control yourself. You want to be better. You want to be better. When you're the tzaddik, you want to be better. Because you feel that this is a person, it's a king. This is Malchus. This is Malchus. Amar Kuzvi l'chasi shalticha I'm asking you. So the king says to the tzaddik, to the chaver, he says, "Chassid shalticha." I'm talking to you about chassidus, not about. I'm talking about a righteous person, not about a Moshe, not about a king. Amar chaver chassid hu ha-Moshe. So the Rabbi Levi says, the chassid is the king. It's the same thing. Chassid is king. Because every single one of his physical netias and all of his emotional senses and physical senses, he's in control of. That's a king. All of his body and his emotions, his physical things and his emotions, so they all listen to him. They all obey him. The chassid, his emotions obey him. His physical things, they obey him. He's in charge. He gives orders to his body. He gives orders to his emotions. That is the person who is Roy Lishlov. In other words, the Kuzvi is telling you, Your Majesty, I want you to know what it means to be a king. Is a chassid. You want to be a real king, you have to be a chassid. And the chassid is before chassid. You want to be a king? Means first make sure that your body listens to you. That you're in control of your body, that you're marshal over your emotions, you're marshal over your speech. Then you'll see you'll be a very, very effective king, and you're not going to have to lock people up and kill them. Kilo Ahmed Bereish Medina Hayanoheg Babitzadek Keshem Shanag Minhag Tzadek V'Gufa B'Nafsho. Because the same way that you're a fair and just and righteous king in your own self, over your own self, and with your own body, so too you'll be a fair and just and righteous king over other people. Zui midas hatzadik. She'adeh loses l'kol darves makomo uzmano haruyim. That's the tzaddik. Everything in its right way, its right time, its right place. That's tzaddik. That's kelim, tikkun. Zah korach shemamid es ha'olam u'meviyah el Yehuda. And with this korach, that's how the world is brought to its tachlis. With people using their koiches that Hashem gave them towards that tachlis for which Hashem created them and the world. The person that tzaddik uses his koiches in a harmonious way. And it brings them to their tachlis. Therefore, tzaddik is yisod olam pasuk. Tzaddik is the foundation of the world because the world. Tzaddik is the foundation of the world because the world is depending upon every one of us using our koiches towards the end for which the world was created. Therefore, the tzaddik is holding up the world. And in your house, you're the tzaddik. You're holding up your family. And in the classroom, you're holding up the chevra in the classroom. But tzaddik is yisod olam. Hasidkus nikeres b'shmiras hagvulos. Sidkus is recognized by this Indian of shmiras hagvulos, of controlling the gvulim, the boundaries. The nituv hakoiches l'makom anochan, and channeling one's koiches l'makom anochan in the right way, the right people at the right time, and so on. And this is what we see when we study carefully the life of Yosef Atzadik. He did not give in to the wife of Potiphar. He said no. And that was the person that became what? The Moshel over all of Mitzrayim. The one who ruled over himself became the king of Mitzrayim. And then he says, and he was the one that gave life to all of Am Yisrael, to all of Bnei Yisrael. He was the one that gave life, and did he really to us, also to everybody. Yosef Atzadik. The one who said no to Potiphar's wife was the one who gives koiches to each one of us to live. And he gave to all of Bnei Yisrael, he gave life. The one who said no to that, which seemed to be the strongest impulse in his life, but it was not who he really was, and the tzaddik was in control of it, and he did not give in to that Indian of the wife of Potiphar. He became the ruler, the one who ruled over himself, became the Moshel al Kol Eretz Mitzrayim, became the ruler over Mitzrayim, and gave life to all of Israel, and that's the avodah of each one of us. So now, when we're getting ready for Pesach, and if you have even for a second the thought of like, this is such a challenge to me right now to do this and to take care of it. It's the biggest privilege and the biggest tikkun that Hashem Yisrael gave us. Not only Pesach, He gave us a life of Shulchan Aruch. He didn't give them all the rules and regulations. They're running around. It's Lebedik, a hot dog contest. For us, Shulchan Aruch, from the second you open your eyes to the minute you close your eyes, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. And if you have this crazy thought like, wow, this is like too much for me, it's exactly what you need. And the toughest of that is not to take away your life, it's to give you the opportunity to have a life that's worth living. We should be